I don't know what it is around the people who are on social media, like I've got the most followers. They seem to just have these like super unrealistic routines. And I don't know if then people think like, is that the routine I have to be quote unquote successful? But they're like ridiculous. It's like get up, work out for 90 minutes, do meditation for 15 minutes, go get morning sunlight, go for a walk, read 30 pages of a book. And it's like, have we all just got like a spare 4 hours, in the morning? It's ridiculous. And I think it's like so unrelatable to anyone who actually has a career or has kids or has a more like normal busy life. It's like, where am I getting that time?
Now, you might have heard about the 5 a.m. club. Maybe. Have you heard about it?
A few times.
Or the hype about morning routines, like you've got to have the optimum hydration, ice baths, yoga, meditation, get all this stuff in before the rest of the house wakes up. But you're probably thinking, as you're hearing that list of things, it's not very realistic. And if you're asking me to do all of that and then go on with the rest of my day, I'm just not even going to entertain the idea. So we're here to cut the BS on morning routines today.
We certainly are. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about like what things are beneficial in a morning routine, what things you could take or leave, whether it's important to even do it in the morning.
Yeah.
And maybe give you some ideas of things that might help the rest of your day go a bit smoothly without it being like a big elaborate routine.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I guess let's start with your routine.
My morning routine.
Yeah.
I guess it's got like a few nuanced things in it, but it's nothing like spectacular. I get up, I brush my teeth, but I brush my teeth in the shower, and now I get a cold shower. And that wakes you up fast. Like,
Hang on, so you do your teeth in the cold shower, just like chill, hanging out in a cold shower?
Well, I'm not. I mean, I'm chill. I'm chilly. All right, Stacey, was not funny. But yeah,
I was sucker for a dad joke.
Yeah, I'm chilly in the shower. But yeah, I brush my teeth in the shower because the electric toothbrush, that's got you that one, is 2 minutes. So that's kind of like, I'll do 2 minutes and then I'll do another minute just like getting washed, and then I want to, like, you are desperate to get out.
It's cold that whole time.
It's cold that whole time, yeah.
Oh.
So you get out and you look like a tomato. You're nice and red, and it's like putting a towel on your face feels so nice because it's just like,
Listener, you do not need to do this.
Yeah, you don't need to do this. So, and every morning I get up and I dread it. And then the second I get out, I'm like awake and I'm like happy I've done it. I get dressed and then I'll go and work out straight away. So, within 15 minutes of waking up, I am downstairs in the garage, starting my workout, and then I will typically work out for anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour and a half, depending on the day. So if it's an hour and a half, it's because I've spent like 20 minutes stretching. If it's 45 minutes, it's because I've got a meeting, coming straight afterwards. So yeah, like that's it. I drink a glass of water before I start my workout. Always do that. And then I'll get like another litre to a litre and a half. What's that, like 30 to 45 ounces while I'm working out. So like before I finish my workout, I've drank like 2 litres, 60 ounces of water. And I feel great. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like the stress from the day before is gone. I feel energized, like mind feels clear. And the one thing I don't do in that whole time is I do not go on my phone. So
we're going to talk about that a bit later, but one of the things that we wanted to really get into this episode is it's not always about like doing more. Sometimes it's about doing less.
Yeah, and taking some stuff away. Yeah. Especially that can like deplete your dopamine. So that would be like my ideal way of like starting a morning. And then some mornings I have a meeting. So it's literally just up, shower, and I've got like a meeting at 6 a.m. So I'm up at 5:30, straight in the shower, and then I'm sat behind my desk within 20 minutes. And they're the days, like I could get up at 4 and do it, but I just don't.
I mean, you did last month when I was here, and I looked across at you at about 10 and I was like, are you okay?
Yeah, I was like, right, I'm going to get up even earlier to try and get in like my workout and a bunch of work before I come to the office at 9 o'clock. And I did, I got like 4 or 5 hours of stuff done, but yeah, I got like a real 3 o'clock lag.
Yeah. I think the takeaway of it is a morning routine is there to optimize, but it's not something you need to be married to. Like it can flex.
Yeah. And I actually think if you do become married to your morning routine and you start saying, I need my morning routine or I need to do these certain things, like you're creating like crutches. And then if those crutches get knocked away, which they will for us all, if you've got kids, if you've got a busy career, if you get sick, if you're traveling, it just means that like, when you can't have the perfect routine or circumstance, you now feel like at a loss, and you actually do personally feel at a loss, versus just trying to make the most of whatever situation you're in. Oh, like you just accept that like circumstances happen, you'll just do the best that you can. And I think that's a much stronger, more resilient mindset to have for when you're traveling, for when you've got kids, for when things don't go to plan. It's like, it's nice to have a routine where you, like, I'd love it if I could always get up and do what I've just said. In the summer, it's even easier because the shower's not as cold.
And it's lighter.
And it's lighter, yeah. I mean, in the winter, when it's like freezing cold, your fingers and toes are stinging. I mean, you go downstairs in the garage and it's pitch black and I have the garage door open and it's just dark and cold as well. But then it makes you, like, I just think like, oh, the winter makes me appreciate the spring and the summer more. So,
And the fact you then, after you go inside, you get that nice tingle because it's all
yeah.
warm.
And then the house feels too warm, you know what I mean? When you
Yeah.
come down, it feels too cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, but I'm always very just conscious of anyone if they have like a really strict morning routine and they use those words, I need. I try and always address that mindset because you don't need it, you prefer it, and that's fine to prefer something. But saying you need something definitely puts you at like at a loss. It's like a huge one which we haven't touched on, but is coffee. You know, people that say like, I need coffee first thing in the morning. It's like, no, you don't. Like,
And if you do, then we probably need to talk about why
yeah, like
you
if you
feel that you need the coffee.
if you need a medical grade of caffeine to just, you know, a dose of caffeine to just get you through the day, I think you've got other issues going on there that you probably need to address, and coffee's just masking them, if anything, making it worse. So, yes, in short, that is my morning routine. Shower, brush my teeth, in the shower, get a workout in. Yeah.
So would you say those would be your non-negotiables?
Yeah, they would. Or some sort of movement. So today, I had like an early meeting, but it was a little bit later than usual. So I just actually done your 15-minute morning mobility.
Nice.
Because I had about 20 minutes and I went, I'd rather do something than just jump on the computer straight away. So I just done 15 minutes of movement. Yeah.
Oh, something better than nothing.
Something's better than nothing. Yeah.
Love it. My mornings are very different. I do not have a freezing cold shower. And
Nice,
I
yeah.
do not go and work out in my garage. I'm very much more of a like start my day in a chill space, gives me the right headspace to take on the rest of the day. Whereas I know for you, like the workout does that job. For me, like my non-negotiables are my son's alarm goes off, which is then like the whole house wakes up. But usually my husband goes and gets him and I just lie in bed and do 5 belly breaths just to like sort my nervous system out before the chaos arrives. And then we all just have a cuddle in bed for like 20 minutes, read some books. So I'm just getting like a recharge of like happiness and connection time. And then we just go through like the normal morning routine stuff of like a family life. And then like my actual morning routine for me doesn't happen till I drop him off, my son off. So that will be when I'll then have like my coffee, my breakfast, go to the gym. Because I just feel like then I can actually focus on me. And I know that is a very privileged position to be in because a lot of people drop their kid off and then go to work. However, I would argue that designing my life around being able to do that has made my life infinitely better. And I perform better at work. He gets a better mum. So although it might feel like a bit extravagant to drop your kid off like half an hour earlier, if that's a possibility, if there's a breakfast club or something where your kid goes, I would really say like, just weigh up the pros and cons because actually you might find taking that half an hour out for yourself where at the moment you feel like there is zero time for you. This might be the slot that can work. For other people, it's getting up before the kids. So, you know, everybody's life is different. Everybody's routine is different. But I do think having somewhere towards the start of your day where you can just be focused on you is super important.
Without like interruption as well.
Yeah, and that's why I don't even have like my coffee when he's here. I wait until I can enjoy my coffee and eat mindfully. And like sometimes, and that's the other thing, like I don't always eat the same thing or at the same time. Or, like I wait until I'm hungry and then I'll have it. And sometimes I will wake up and I'm making him porridge and I'll have some porridge because I'm hungry. How
different does this look before you had Nate?
So I was, my poor dog. He's so neglected now.
Oh, no.
I always used to get up and walk him. Like that would be the first thing. Whereas now he has to wait till we've done drop off and then like one of us will do it. I didn't used to work out in the mornings. Like first thing, we were just saying before the cameras went on, I actually prefer to work out a couple of hours after I woke up.
Yeah.
So, and also because I lived in a different time zone to you guys, I would do a couple of hours of work and then go to the gym at like 11, which worked well for like my energy. It broke up my working day. And for me, I just felt like my body was ready to work out.
Yeah.
I had give more at that point. So it has changed, but maybe not massively. I've never been like a get up and run out of bed. Although I did have a phase of going to CrossFit at 5:30 for a while, just
In the morning?
because, just because when we were so busy before I went on mat leave, I was like, this is literally the only way it's going to happen. Like me going to the gym, like I have to book myself on a class that they're going to charge me anyway, even if I don't turn up, and I just have to get myself there. So there are seasons, and there's no right or wrong.
There are seasons. I think that's important, isn't it? That like you use like an outsourced accountability in essence to help you through that season. I think that's like a really powerful thing to do, isn't it? It's just like when you're going through certain seasons of your life, being able to pull on certain levers if you know that they can help you to maybe keep you more consistent.
Yeah, definitely. And so there's always going to be like similar non-negotiables. For me, it's having that time before I get out of bed to just ground myself. And it is literally like 5 breaths, so like a minute.
I'd never done belly breathing before until like I think COVID, and I downloaded this flexibility app or mobility app. And the first thing I got you done was teach you how to belly breathe. And I was like, this is weird. And I couldn't do it, which was annoying.
Oh.
I just couldn't do it. So it took a while. So then I got frustrated that I couldn't do it and spent a lot of time doing it until I could do it. But now actually after I do that morning mobility workout of yours, you just say basically lie there for stillness, but I actually don't. I actually put my left hand on my stomach and do 10 belly breaths and then put my right hand. And I almost feel like I come out of a trance at the end of it, which is so weird for me, or it feels weird for me because I've never really done stuff like that before. But like a calmness as well. And I've actually found when I do that, my HRV is just like way higher on my Whoop score.
Blood pressure?
Yeah, I haven't checked that. I haven't been checking that enough to know.
That would be really interesting because it should have the same effect. And so it's not because I've got high blood pressure, but it is a calming, almost like a biohack for your nervous system to just bring you into more of that rest and digest state, which hopefully, you know, the second you wake up, hopefully you are in a rested state. But there have been phases in my life where I haven't. I've woke up and immediately started stressing about work or kid stuff or my husband's work or whatever. And so I just found that a really useful habit to get into, like start my day with like this baseline, and then anything else that comes along, you've already kind of tempered it.
I think a bit of a through line of what we're both talking about here is like we're starting our days with intention, which I think is super important, and trying not to carry over yesterday's day. So for me, I know, and I literally done it last week, I worked too late. I worked till like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and then went straight to bed. And I try not to do that. I'll even like sometimes actually sacrifice an hour's sleep to just like watch half an episode of Netflix to just like calm my mind down. Didn't do it. Was dreaming about work till like 3 a.m. So then I felt like I had a bad night's sleep, got up about 5:30 and like work was already on my mind. I didn't feel rested at all. And it's just like it's a different way of starting your day. So it's almost like your morning routine like starts the night before. It's like being intentional about not working too late or going to bed with too much stress. That makes like a significant difference to me to having like a good night's sleep. And then just again, not letting like just starting your day with intention, like you running your day. Like it's that whole, have you heard that saying before? Like be the CEO of your day. You know, you run your day, don't let your day run you. And it's very much around just like being intentional. And I think most people actually wake up, and what do you reckon the percentages of people who wake up and go on the phone first thing?
Oh, super high.
Yeah. Just like
Sigh?
Yeah.
Check?
I don't know if there's a way of finding.
Check-in.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way of finding out, but it's like, I think that is like that's the opposite of starting your day with intention.
Yeah.
It's like waking up and going, your eyes can't open, you look at your phone, Instagram notification, WhatsApp notification, text message notification, email notification, Slack notification. And it's just like people like wake up and the first thing they're doing is just like problem, my attention. And that is...
And it's not what you would choose your attention to be going on if you were really intentional about it.
Yeah. Go on. Oh. No, TV is not on. Yeah.
Saying about 70 to 80%.
Go straight on the phone. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if there's one thing you could take from listening to this whole episode, it would be to just like turn your notifications off and don't go on your phone for the first like 20 minutes of the day.
At least 20 minutes.
At least 20 minutes.
I saw a really good quote from Jay Shetty actually last week, which was, you wouldn't let 100 people just walk into your bedroom and start talking at you.
Yeah.
When you pick up your phone, that's effectively what you're doing. And it's just anyone and everybody getting your attention the second you wake up, diverting your thoughts from what actually matters to you. I think that's been a really helpful thing since I've had Nate, is when he comes into bed for a cuddle, we're not on our phones. Like, we just have that time together, the three of us. Whereas I was guilty of it before, like check my emails, check my social media. Also, because we're in a different time zone, like I'd have messages from family and stuff overnight. And before you know it, also, not only have you lost your attention, you've lost like half an hour of your day.
And you're probably going to sleep worse because you've had that blue light in your eyes and you're...
Yeah.
It's one of them, isn't it? Like, if you read a book in bed, you start to get tired and like fall asleep and you put the book down. But if like you're on social media and you're like scrolling through Reels or TikTok, your mind's just like wired. Like you don't really get tired.
Yeah. And so, we would definitely say don't start your day on your phone. But I guess the thing is, like, finding something that sets you in the good headspace for the rest of the day. And it doesn't have to be a massive thing. So like I said, mine is literally 1 minute. That's like the common every single day thing. And then you can layer on bits and pieces depending on what time you've got. But ultimately, like, there is a lot of science around why what we do in the morning is so important. And a lot of it is to do with the fact, like, our bodies are run by a circadian rhythm, which is every 24 hours, there are certain bodily processes that should happen at a pretty regular time that coordinate like our sleep cycles, our hunger, our moods. And that is affected by what you do or don't do, as well as the other way. So it's like a two-way process. So the master clock, I guess, in your brain is really affected by light.
Yeah.
So your body, if you think about like going back to caveman days, is expecting in the morning you get light, sunlight in your eyes, and that tells your body, okay, let's start the day in terms of circadian rhythm and like all these hormonal processes that kick off. Looking at your phone, looking at that blue light does mess with the natural light that you would normally get. But then equally, how many of us actually go outside in the morning? Like, except from running to the car and then running to the office. Yeah. So that could be another really helpful small thing you can do, is getting outside in the morning light.
Yeah. It could even going out for a morning walk. I mean, I work out in the garage and have the door open, and if it's obviously summer, the light's getting there. So I feel like I'm getting like a double benefit of I'm in the garage working out and I'm also getting the light. Obviously in the winter, that isn't the case. And I know you can use, I think you've actually got one, it's called a SAD lamp, right? And you can actually use them to almost, I don't think it's as effective as the sun, but if you stand in front of it for like 10 or 15 minutes or have it on your face, you can get enough. I actually don't know what the
Is it blue light? Or,
it's not
no,
blue light.
It's not blue light.
It's
just the measurement of light, so
lux.
Oh, like the level of light.
Yeah, the level of it. So the intensity, which magnitude's higher than any sort of light you can get in your house.
Yeah.
Because you just don't get enough, and also it's like not just enough to get enough through the windows. You'd actually want to have the windows open so you get the actual sunlight. Or you can use the lamps in the winter, but it makes a big difference. Like, one of the things, if you've ever got jet lag, like some of the best things that you could do is wake up, get sunlight first thing in the morning, and do a workout, and it starts to just reset your body clock. As fast as you can.
And it is important in terms of like your general health, because that body clock, it sounds like, okay, great, you've got a body clock, but it is in control of your cortisol, your hunger hormones. Your sleep hormone cycle actually starts from that morning sunlight, weirdly enough. So if you find you struggle to sleep, having a morning routine which gives you daylight early on can actually make you sleep better the next night, which will make you wake up fresher the next morning, so you'll be more likely to go for a walk outside. And it's like a circle.
You're literally saying, like, look, a few sleep experts, or like most people who have got insomnia, who have got really bad sleep issues, just go tell them to do camping for 2 weeks and they'll fix themselves.
Camping?
Go camping for 2 weeks. Yeah, because it's like you're outside, you know, if you've got no phones or anything like that, and it's just like you will naturally just fall into a more natural circadian rhythm of like when the sun rises and when it goes down. And obviously that does change in the winter and the sort of summer months. But yeah, it makes a significant difference. And it's also huge for your mood as well. You know, like,
daylight actually causes you to release serotonin, which I learned in the prep for this episode. I was like, I've always said like, I just want the sun to shine and I'll be happier. And I genuinely feel happier. Turns out it's science.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense though, isn't it? It's just, I think people do, especially in the UK, because it's so grey and wet and the winters feel like they go on forever. When we do get sunnier, it's like the best day ever, isn't it? I think if you ever meet a British person who's moved abroad, they just seem happy all the time. And it's like, because they've just had that deficit for most of their lives. But yeah, it does, getting sunlight. I'm making a point of it, even if it's, even if it's cloudy or if it's raining, you can still get sunlight by just going outside and getting into your eyes.
And actually, the research is that you probably want to get 5 to 10 minutes on a sunny day and like 15 minutes on a cloudy day. So it's not like go outside for an hour-long walk.
Yep.
And even if you can't actually get away for a walk, like if you've got any outside space in your home, like a terrace or a patio, like have your coffee, put a coat on and go and have your coffee outside. Just get that sunlight on. Obviously, we would love you to also go for a walk and get some movement at the same time. 2 birds with 1 stone. But if all you have got time for, or you can't leave the house because you've got kids, like just get outside for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Are you ready to lose 30 to 60 pounds in under 6 months without restrictive diets, countless hours exercising, or any guesswork? Well, we help women over 30 do exactly that. Lose weight guaranteed. And 5 to 10 pounds a month is the average weight loss. And that's not a cherry pick statistic. That is the average. Your weight loss results are 100% guaranteed and you will lose unwanted body fat. So apply now at bodysmartfitness.com, but only if you're a woman over 30 and you want to lose 30 to 60 pounds in under 6 months.
So in terms of like the morning routine, instead of because there's a lot now on social media now.
Oh my gosh. If you listen to some people, they think you've just got 3 hours spare in the morning.
Well, I feel like a lot of people who put these morning routines on, like, I don't know what it is around the people who are on social media, like I've got the most followers. They seem to just have these like super unrealistic routines. And I don't know if then people think like, is that the routine I have to be quote unquote successful? But they're like ridiculous. It's like get up, work out for 90 minutes, do meditation for 15 minutes, go get morning sunlight, go for a walk, read 30 pages of a book. And it's like, have we all just got like a spare 4 hours, in the morning? It's ridiculous. And I think it's like so unrelatable to anyone who actually has a career or has kids or has a more like normal busy life. It's like, where am I getting that time?
So actually the 5 a.m. club is a bit like that vibe. Like it's do everything every day.
Yeah.
And it's 20 minutes of each thing. So I think it's like 20 minutes of workout, 20 minutes of personal development.
I thought the 5 a.m. club was just like people who get up at 5 a.m. and want to be part of that club. Is it actually like
it's actually like a book.
A set thing?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a book with like a method.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously you don't have to be up at 5 a.m. The idea is though that you get up an hour before everyone else in your household so that you can focus that hour on you and starting your day with intention. So I'm fully behind the concept.
Yeah.
And it's 20 minutes of movement, 20 minutes of personal development, like reading or maybe listening to an audiobook, and 20 minutes of more like a meditation-y type exercise. So again, each individual part, fully on board with. But I think the fact, it's got that label, the 5 a.m. club, it's like pitched at this, everything has to be optimized. Everyone has to be like on a hustle culture. Whereas if you take the actual essence of what it's recommending, like do 3 things for yourself before everyone else starts to drag your attention away, totally on board.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be 20 minutes this, 20 minutes that, 20 minutes that. Like, even the way I was just saying then, like, in a good day, I'll do a 45-minute workout to like 90 minutes. But on like a busier day, it might just be like 20 minutes of a morning. And it's something. And it's also, I do think just like, I just remember this like so vividly when I was personal training and me and Steph had just started going out, and I would wake up and I would look at my phone and my eyes weren't even open, and I would see all these like WhatsApp notifications of clients and other things that were going on. And before I could even actually open my eyes, I was trying to like reply to people. And it was actually just like the worst way to start my day. Like I remember just feeling shit is the best way I could describe it.
And also, I have to say, when I used to manage the coaching team, the coaches who did that, I'd be like, do you think your clients are getting the best answer?
Oh, of course not. Yeah. I mean, just not good at all. And like, it's like, if things can't wait 20 minutes from you waking up, Like 20 minutes, like you've got bigger problems.
And that's it, isn't it? Like
yeah.
we turn everything into an emergency.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to reply to this right now. Well, actually, you probably don't.
Yeah. And that's why I'm just a big advocate, no notifications.
Yeah.
Or
So
I
you'd
think
have no notifications anytime on your phone, do
I have
you?
no
They're always
notifications.
turned
Yeah,
off.
because I think it's like, so if someone, like, what would be the actual reason for someone needing me right now? And I'm like, an emergency. Okay, if it's an emergency, someone's going to call me. Okay? Even if I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb, if you call twice, it rings. So and my family members know that. And then I have SMS on because everyone uses WhatsApp in the UK, not SMS. So I'm like, if someone actually needs me, they'll call me. If not, why am I going to let my phone choose when to distract me? I was like, because then I'm doing the complete opposite of being intentional about my day. Because how many times, and I literally go on Instagram sometimes to post something, and the first thing that's on there that gets me, and the next minute, like 10 minutes has gone by, and I'm like, fuck, what was I even here for? And I'm like, I hate it. I'm like, it I know what it's doing, but then it does it anyway. So if I had notifications on, that is like that on steroids times 10, just all day. That's like, how are you meant to get anything done? So, and again, like that whole idea, like I want to run my day, I need to be intentional about what happens. And if that isn't the case, it's it's just a very reactive way to live. And I don't think it's a good way of living in terms of having a little bit more calm.
Totally agree. So mindset wise, I think we're both on the same page of it needs to be something that gets you in the right headspace. And both of our morning routines are pretty chill in that sense. Like we don't have journaling sessions or like visualization sessions or anything like that. But there are lots of other things that different people find useful. And I think it's useful for us to share some of those because basically today's episode is like a pick and mix.
Yeah.
So rather than having to get a book and follow a method of the 5 a.m. club and do the 20 minutes prescribed thing, what we want you to do is just listen and think, oh yeah, actually that would feel quite a nice way to start my day, or that would be really helpful for me, and just create your ideal start to the day. So for mindset, obviously when you wake up in the morning, before anything else has grabbed your attention, if you've turned your notifications off, it is a great time to focus on what it is that's important to you. So we do say to our clients, we've got like a printable daily planner, and to start their day with that just gives them that real focus of like, what do I want to achieve today? How do I want to show up? What do I want to do towards my goals? Like having that intent before you go into the rest of your day really does change the outcome. So if you've got a goal, taking time to reflect on them and also write down what your intentions are is hugely important. So don't just think, like lie there in bed, but like, well, I'm going to think about my goals and think about what I'm going to do today. Yes, that's better than nothing. But if you can physically write it with your hand, not on your phone, like actually use a pen, you're 42% more likely to actually do the thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's why we're a big advocate for a journal or the printable planner. And have a structure that kind of forces you to do that daily.
Yeah.
If you've got a goal that you're chasing, it will pay off.
Yeah, and I would even say sometimes as well, like a morning routine does start the night before, because I write down my to-do list the night before, and then I look over my calendar the next day and I make sure I've got time blocks in for what I need to get done. So it's like I've already like handwritten it down in my notepad, and then I've got it booked in on my Google Calendar of what I'm going to get done. And then there's other things like every night I go before I go to bed, if I'm working out, which is like most days, my gym kit's left out over there. And then I think the biggest one is like going to bed on time. So all of them things allow the morning routine to be better because I've already like laid my gym clothes out. I've already like, set my day up in terms of intention, written stuff down. And then I do have to go to bed on time because if that's the next thing, isn't it? Like if you stay up a little bit too late or an hour too late, then you hit snooze on your alarm. Then your gym kit, even though it was left out, you don't do it because you haven't had time and you're in a rush. So I do think sometimes a morning routine can be fantastic, but it starts with the intention, even like the day before as well.
Yeah, and that's actually a great tip if you're starting out with a morning routine or it's something that you aspire to. Maybe start with an evening routine.
Yeah.
Like I know today's episode is about morning routine, but it's almost right, where's the foundation? Because if you haven't got your set bedtime in order, if you haven't got the prep done, if you haven't got the intention there so that you wake up knowing what you want to achieve, it's going to be really hard to follow through on this stuff. You want to take away as much friction as possible. So the things you were saying about like time blocking out your calendar and laying out your kit, it means all you have to do is get up and do. Like you don't have to think.
Well, you're in autopilot. You know what I
Right.
mean? As long like you basically like, I autopilot, like walk into the bathroom, go to the toilet, grab my toothbrush. I mean, like it's just like I'm not thinking about any of that. I am just I want to get dressed because I'm cold, and then my clothes are right there that I'm going to get dressed into. I'm like I'm already in my gym kit. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to just go downstairs and sit on the stairs and scroll on my phone. Now it's like it's already sort of pre-programmed around what I'm going to go and do. You've just got to kind of get up, and
Yeah.
you are going to get up if you've had enough sleep. So it's just about going to bed the night before.
Yeah, and also you mentioned about snooze,
Yeah.
hitting your snooze button. That is a huge one. I used to be such a snoozer.
Mm.
And I don't actually know what the moment was where I changed. I can't even remember when it was, but I don't snooze now. I literally am like, maybe it's because I don't leave myself enough time. I've got this really annoying hack of like pretending that I have to be somewhere early to make myself be on time. I used to actually set my clock in my room 7 minutes wrong so that I wouldn't be late for stuff.
My dad used to do that on all of our clocks.
And I believed it though,
Yeah.
even though I had done it to myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now I think I've got around not snoozing, but I literally only set my alarm to give me just enough time to do all
Right.
the things.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't recommend it unless you're dedicated to actually getting up when the alarm goes off. But for me, that means I know I can't faff around. Like I've just got to get up and go and do the thing.
Yeah.
If there's like, oh, well, I've got 20 minutes, so I'll press snooze once. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I agree.
And so for me, it's better to just be like, there is no leeway. Just get up, just do it.
I used to use an app called Sleep Cycle. It was really good. Like I used it for years, and it would wake you up between whatever you'd set, like 15 and 30 minutes before. So it could wake you up like 5 minutes before if it knew you were in a deep sleep and then started to come out of it.
So is it related to your watch?
No, it's actually your phone just like listens to you while you're asleep. It's dead funny. It record if you snore or sleep talk. It has little sound bites in the morning, which was hilarious because like when me and Steph first started going out, I was like, "Is that me snoring?" I was like, "That's you." So I just had all these recordings on my phone, which she was like, "I'll kill you if you ever play any of them." Anyway, so I've just shared that. But anyway, so there was that, and that was really helpful. Like I used to find like I didn't wake up in this like grog as much. And then the Whoop that I've been using lately, that vibrates on your wrist. It's violent. So it's like it's like, do you use it, Si? Yeah, it's
I have to smack it loads.
well, it just doesn't go off. It's just it's like that on your wrist for like 45 seconds. So it's like aggressively wakes you up. But apparently, that is the best way to get up. Like you don't want to snooze. You want to get up on the first alarm.
Yeah. And so little hacks that people use is that, I mean, it's literally on your wrist and it's being irritating. Putting your phone on the other side of the room so you have to get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Because once you're out of bed, you might as well stay out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Also having like I find having a sound that isn't really harsh much better for me. I feel like if I don't even have the sound on my alarm. I have it on vibrate if I have an alarm, because I feel like it wakes me up in like a sense of shock.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, ugh, and I just press stop. Whereas if I have it on vibrate, I'm allowing myself to slowly come to, and I'm like, okay, I'm all right with getting up.
Yeah. If
And I
anyone
can
wants
get
to
up.
know like a pro tip, do not make your favorite song your alarm, because then you just end up hating the song. But yeah, no, it's I think getting up on your first alarm is just so much easier if like one, you don't have a choice, like you have to get up for that time, and then two, just like going to bed on time. Apple have brought out this new thing where you can set like what your bedtime is. So my phone, like every day, if it's like 8:30 or something, or like 9 o'clock, it makes this like, I don't even know what like a nighttime bell would be. You know what I mean?
Like
It's
a dinkle?
Yeah, like a little like twinkle or dinkle, whatever it would be. That goes off and it's like, start your bedtime. And it's like, that goes on, my phone dims, my phone goes on do not disturb. So it's like, it's kind of it's just a cue, isn't it? And I think that's like, anytime you're trying to form a new habit or behavior, having cues that can influence the behavior certainly help. And that's like a good one that's probably inbuilt into most people's phone.
Yeah, and while we're talking about cues and like bedtimes and stuff, what makes it a lot easier to get up is having a routine of the same bedtime and the same wake up time.
Yeah.
So I know it's easier said than done if you've got kids or you've got shifts. But if you can, going to bed around like within an hour of the same time every night and waking up within an hour of the same time every night, it is going to feel easier to just get up when it's get up time.
Yeah. Oh, it's night and day. Like if any time I've spent like it's probably like 7 to 10 days, if you can get within that like hour of going to bed and getting up at the same time, including the weekends, Like that used to be a huge thing I was guilty of. Oh, the weekend's here. I'll stay up later on a Friday. I'll get up later on a Saturday. You do it for like 7 to 10 days and you just, I'm not joking, you feel alive. Like you have so much more energy and feel so much better throughout the day.
Yeah, and it does sound a bit like anti-fun saying, oh, get up still at 6 on a Saturday. But you do feel like if you get into the routine of it, you don't even have to set an alarm. You do just wake up and you feel ready to wake up if you've allowed yourself enough sleep.
Yeah.
If you went, oh, it's Friday night, so I'm going to go to bed at midnight and then I'm still going to try and wake up at 6. That's not the case.
Yeah.
But it's respecting that, like bedtime each.
Yeah. But this is like what a lot of people do and why they typically don't feel as great as they could is that you'll have to get up at a certain time Monday through Friday because you've got to go to work and you've got responsibilities. But then on Friday night, you go to bed too late. So then you sleep in on Saturday and then you do the same on Saturday night and Sunday. And then you have to get back up earlier again on Monday. So every week it feels like a battle.
You're like on a regain.
Yeah, like every week it feels like it's on a battle versus if you did just get up closer to that normal wake time through the week on the weekend, it just wouldn't feel as hard. And
Yeah.
I found most of my 20s, like I just felt like tired. Like all the time because I was just doing that. I was just constantly doing that and working shifts and everything else. And obviously if you drink, that's like even worse. Drinking's like basically giving yourself jet lag if you stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and also you've had like 4 hours sleep at the time you would normally need to get up.
Yeah. yeah.
So like I said, it can sound a bit like, oh, the fun police, like, oh, I still have to go to bed early, even though it's Sunday night or Saturday night. But I think a lot of that comes from the fact that we're so busy. It can feel like, right, you finally get to the evening, you finally get to switch off and have some time to yourself. There's that bedtime procrastination.
Bedtime revenge
Oh,
procrastination.
that's it that you talk about.
That is right. It's a bedtime revenge.
Apparently it's a legit thing.
It is a legit thing.
But basically, we're just like so starved of time to ourselves to unwind or like get in a good headspace or just like be alone and, chill or maybe even chill with your loved one. And so it can feel hard to give that up in order to get up in the morning to do this like snazzy morning routine. But what I would say, having had lots of clients that have gone from being like, no way would I get up and work out, or no way would I want to get up earlier than I already do, they often say that when they kind of sacrifice that hour in the evening for the hour in the morning, it does so much more. Like that hour is so much more valuable to them in the morning.
So the way I look at this is like the currency that we're all short of is time. And you can look at time and go, oh, it's 24 hours. And everyone's like, oh, we've all got the same 24 hours. And yes, from a principal degree, that is correct. And no, from a responsibilities point of view, no, it's not. But if you actually look at a different currency around time, I think it's energy. So your energy is also your time because it's how much you can get done. So if you actually go to bed an hour earlier and then get up and work out and think more clearly and are less stressed and have a better day and get more done in work, so your work day's finished, you come home, you're not taking your work with you because you got your work done, you show up better with your kids, you've got more energy, you feel more refreshed. It's like your day feels better and you get more done and sometimes can feel longer. Like you have more, like it's a common theme that we get with our clients is, I didn't think I had the time to do all the things you're asking me to do. And I've actually got more time and I'm doing the exercise, I'm eating better. And it's like, yeah, no shit, because you're thinking more clearly, you've got more energy and you're just overall in a better headspace and mindset.
Yeah, and it is what you do with that time though as well, because if what you do of an evening is sit on the couch and before you know it, 3 hours have gone, you've maybe watched a bit of Netflix whilst also maybe scrolling, whilst also maybe picking at some snacks, having a glass of wine. Yes, in theory, you've wound down, but have you actually let your brain rest, like given your body a recharge? Not really. So if you swap 1 hour of that to getting up, going outside for some sunlight, going for a walk maybe, like taking some time out to think about your goals or your intentions, that 1 hour is going to do so much more for you. And it is going to give you that recharge and that invigoration, which you're trying to get from unwinding on the sofa.
Yeah. Which I don't know how that sounds to an extent, but it is. It's like a lot of people think when you work out, it's going to be energy taxing, but it's not. It gives you energy. Like if you're actually tired in the middle of the day and you went and done not like a super intense workout, but you went and done like a fairly vigorous workout, got your heart pounding, you come back and you feel energized and you're like, didn't expect that. You think more clearly, you've got more energy. I literally had it the other day because I had a bit of jet lag. and I worked out in the middle of the day, and I was like awake, alive again. So it's, yeah, like I think sometimes you think, oh, I'm using energy to work out, and it's like actually it gives you energy.
Yeah, actually, I know my brother's full body smart now because the other day we were all just sat around on Easter Sunday. We'd had like a massive meal, and he was like half eyes closed. Like, I either need a nap or a walk. So I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Because that same feeling of it just wakes you back up. It gives you that boost, and it's the combination of the movement, being outside, getting some daylight. So yeah, definitely choose the things that are going to genuinely give you energy. Maybe not the things that you've just always done to relax.
Yeah.
So those have all been kind of more like mindset-y things and kind of anecdotal things, I guess, that people have said are beneficial to them or feel good. But there are some specific morning routine type activities that get suggested, which have a lot of science behind them. So one is the breathing that we talked about earlier. And that literally is shown by science to reduce your heart rate variability and your blood pressure, like get your nervous system into rest and digest state, which if you compare that to starting your day looking at your phone, complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like that's putting you in a completely different headspace to then go on and take on the rest of your day. It also means you're in a lower allostatic load as you start your day.
What the hell does that word mean?
So your allostatic load is like your stress load. So if
Right.
you imagine like you as Jaymie, let's say your allostatic load is like 80 out of 100 because you're thinking about every different part of the business that's going on. You just got back from travel. You've got like stuff going on at home, whatever. Mine might be like 50. So if you then start your day with looking at your phone, okay, let's add 5. And then you get straight up and you go and open your laptop and there's like 5 emails there that are really urgent. Okay, add 10.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're nearly at 100.
Wow. Yeah.
If I start my day, just to be at the other end of the extreme, and I get up and I don't even get up, I do my breath work, I can take 5 off, so I'm at 45. Then I go downstairs and maybe do a workout, I take another 10 off. And so I'm at 35.
Yeah.
And so each thing I'm doing is like consciously lowering my baseline stress. So if we are then both faced with the same problem at 9 a.m.,
You deal with it very
you're
differently.
already nearly at 100 out of 100, and you're more likely to like fly off the handle, make a poor decision, like just not go well.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to think rationally, take some time out to talk to people about the problem, whatever. So taking these like proactive steps earlier in your day, rather than going, okay, I'm going to get on my day, and if it gets stressful, I'll do some breathing, it's actually a much better way to deal with it.
It's a much better way to live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always think like it's a lot of happy people that go around causing problems, or people that are at peace or in a lower state that you've just mentioned there. It's like when you see anyone who gets road rage. Like I literally just laugh and wave back at people because I'm just like, you must be having a bad day. You know, like, because I think I've had road rage twice in my whole life, and you're never proud of it happening. But it's not because of someone cutting you up on the road or doing something. It's because of everything else that's going on, and you are tapped, like you're looking for an excuse to just like, you know, kind of go off your lid. And it's not good. Like no one enjoys being in that state. Everyone would much rather be in that calmer state. And I do agree, like having that, like for me, I can have the most stressful, like intense day. But I know for me, getting up and exercising first thing in the morning is just unnecessary.
So it takes like 15, 20 off yours.
Like huge, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It feels such a relief afterwards, and it's just such, like you said, like a bit of time on my own, and it's just such a reset. And like I remember, like I don't know, something happened in the business like a year or so ago, and I think it might have been yourself or Nat said to me, like, oh my God, you okay? Like, with what's just happened. And I was like, you know what? I've done an ice bath this morning and done like a horrendous leg workout. I was like, anything could happen now. I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like because I've just done these really hard tasks, and they just make me feel so much more calm and chill. It's just like, yeah, it happens. Let's just deal with it and kind of move on.
And it does genuinely make you more resilient. And the other one that fits into that bucket is meditation, because it is shown through many, many studies to have that same effect on your nervous system. But equally, it's actually shown to increase your ability to concentrate and your capacity for neuroplasticity, which is to be, you know, able to think differently and like take on new ways of thinking and function in a way that's more optimal for where you are in your life right now. So if you are like, well, I want to do something that is proven to work, like I don't want it to just be woo woo and like do a journal for the sake of doing a journal, then breathing and meditation are up there as like very evidence-based, and they don't take up a huge bunch of time.
Yeah.
Like you could do 2 to 5 minutes. You could do it without leaving your bed. So if you wanted to start somewhere, I would definitely suggest exploring that. Both of them take a lot of practice, as you said about breathing. And we were talking about this earlier, like how many times do you need to try something new before you say, no, that's not for me?
Yeah.
I think you said 30 times. I was like, oh, that's quite a lot. But it's definitely more than like 1 or 2. I don't know if it needs to be as many as 30, but it definitely needs to be a fair few.
I think that the reason I've said that amount is it's just so you've got it in your mind that you're not going to quit after giving it a few goes. I think everyone's just, myself included, sometimes on new stuff. It's like you've got to embrace being a beginner, and being a beginner in the beginning, no pun intended, is just uncomfortable. Is the best way of putting it. Like you start meditation, you've never done it before. It's uncomfortable, like for quite a bit of time. But then over time, it gets a bit better, and you start to really see the perks and benefits. And it's like, I remember the first times I went to like jiu-jitsu, it was just like, I'm getting beat up by 14-year-olds. It's uncomfortable. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I've got movement over my body. I haven't. And you go into like a new class with like 20, 30 different people, and it's as close as you can. You know, it's just like the whole situation's uncomfortable. But then it starts to become a little bit more comfortable, and then you start to see a bit more progress. And yeah, I think the reason I've always just gone with like 20 or 30 times, it's like that's either going to be like 20 or 30 days, or it's going to be like a good amount of sessions that you shouldn't, like you'll know if you do something 20 times and you can only really do it like once a day or once every couple of days. I think you're going to know at that point whether that's just something you want to stick to or not.
Yeah. Okay, we can compromise on 20.
Okay.
I was just remembering back to I did like a intensive yoga training a couple of years ago before we went to Brunei. And it was a 4-week retreat, and I set myself the intention that I was going to meditate every morning. And it did take me till at least week 2 to not feel like I was counting down till I could finish, or just like, this is so annoying. It did take me about 2 weeks to get into like, actually, oh my God, the time has gone off and it's been 5 minutes. How did that happen? So I will concur.
Okay.
We can agree on 20. So those two are definitely very science-based. And the other one is exercise.
Yeah.
Like if you've listened to any of our other episodes, we bang on about it a lot for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it does have so many benefits in terms of your stress levels, your mindset, your brain function. And like that's forgetting your physical health. Like that's all these extra benefits you can get from doing it first thing in the morning.
Are you ready to lose 30 to 60 pounds in under 6 months without restrictive diets, countless hours exercising, or any guesswork? Well, we help women over 30 do exactly that. Lose weight guaranteed. And 5 to 10 pounds a month is the average weight loss. And that's not a cherry pick statistic. That is the average. Your weight loss results are 100% guaranteed. You will lose unwanted body fat. So apply at bodysmartfitness.com. That's bodysmartfitness.com, but only if you're a woman over 30 and want to lose 30 to 60 pounds.
So I know you've talked about how it affects your mindset. Do you want to explain?
I feel like with exercise, for me and for like many people, it's like you can have a lot of problems and they can feel really intense, but after a workout session, the problems feel like they're there. They just don't feel as potent. It's probably the word I could say. So it's not like they've just disappeared and exercise has fixed all your problems, but they just don't feel like as heavy is the best way I can describe it. So for me, it's like I actually found like I'm the most creative when I'm in the middle of a workout. But also it's just like washing away yesterday's stresses. I think that's just the best way that I can say it. And I always find if I've got a couple of days and I haven't worked out, the more calm and relaxed my life is, and there's less problems going on, I actually can go like a couple of, it sounds like almost like an addiction. I can go a couple of days without exercise and I feel okay. But there's been other times in the past where things have been intense. Like I've had family stuff going on, like really intense family stuff and work stuff. And I can feel I'm getting pulled from a lot of angles. And I know in those times, like for me right now, exercising like every day is a great anchor for me to just like feel calm and like be the person I want to be and show up as that person on a day-to-day basis. So again, it's seasons and But yeah, so much of that is like a mental thing, not almost a physical.
And it does affect your brain function. So
100%.
just, you know, the increased blood flow to the brain, the way different parts of your brain are activated during exercise means you're more likely to make rational decisions after you've had a workout. Rather than letting like rumination or anxiety take over your thoughts, your other rational part of your brain is more likely to kick in. So it's not just anecdotal. There is science behind it.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, so I can probably find it because I'm going to ask you to. It's been shown, I think, on many studies now that just exercise alone gives more benefits than like any sort of antidepressant can. Like just is it antidepressant or even counselling? It's one or the other, but it literally just shows that consistent exercise of like 3 or 4 times a week is like more potent in terms of the benefits it gives for your mental health than any medication out there or even counselling. It's not to say that those things don't have a place, and they certainly do, but it just shows you just like how important it is to move your body. Like we are just not meant to be sedentary all the time and eat processed foods and just like not move. Like the best way I describe it, and I don't know if people like this analogy or not, but like if anyone who's got a dog, if you leave your dog at home for like a full day, maybe they'll be fine. If you do it for a second day, don't be surprised if you come home and your couch is ripped to bits and your shoes being bitten up, and it's just carnage, isn't it? I don't know if that's ever the case with Max for yourself.
Max is a little gem.
Yeah,
he's only ever chewed one thing.
But, you know, if you didn't walk him for like a couple of days, you probably wouldn't be that surprised if you come back and seeing something had happened in the house. And I just think like that's like we're not so dissimilar in the sense of, but like most people are just locking themselves away in the house or in the office for days or weeks and not moving, and then wonder why they're like so agitated and angry and upset and anxious and depressed and stressed. And it's like, you need to just go and move. You need to exert your body. Your body's like it's really, really asking for it to happen.
Yeah. And obviously it doesn't have to be in the morning, but for some people it's the best time for their routine. Is
Definitely.
This your study?
So physical activity is 1.5 times more effective at reducing mild to moderate symptoms of depression,
Stress and anxiety, and medication or CBT.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is, and it's you know, people go back and forth with the saying where they go up like you know, it's like iron therapy or like fitness therapy or whatever else, and then people are like, yeah, that doesn't actually deal with like why people need to go to therapy or to counselling. And by the way, I think everyone can benefit from going to counselling, but it plays a huge part. And I think that's like the part sometimes that if you are struggling with your mental health, like you've got these big rocks, like getting good sleep, exercising, eating good food, you know, having people around you that you love and you spend time with, like they are like the big rocks of health and wellness. So it's not surprising that in the morning, if you can spend time with your loved ones, do some belly breathing, maybe get some exercise in, that your day is just going to be better.
And it is the time of day where there are less distractions or less pulls on your thoughts, your time, your energy than later in the day.
Yeah.
So when I've had clients who've been a bit against getting up to work out, the reason why I've pushed them to try it is because they have all these great intentions. They want all those benefits. They want to work out, but they end up working late, or they get home from work and one of the kids is sick, or whatever. There's always a reason. In the morning, not many of your mates call you up and say, hey, do you want to come around for a quick coffee before work?
Yeah.
You know, your time is much more in your control in the morning. And so if this is something that you know you could benefit from, but you're struggling to figure out how to fit it in, then making your morning work around it could be a really big step forwards for you.
Yeah, for me, and like I didn't used to be a morning person, or I wouldn't still say I am a morning person. I've just, the life that I want to live and the goals that I've got and the ambitions, it's like it just makes the most sense for me to work out in the morning. It's like there's less distractions. I can control everything that's like going on. I just have to get up earlier and get it done. And that's always been similar to yourself. My advice with some clients is that if you have a really busy schedule and struggle to find time for you, it's like we can play it out for like 2 weeks maybe. Like when are you going to get your workouts done of an evening? Doesn't happen. Okay. When are you going to get them? Right, I'm going to go out to lunch in the middle of the day. Doesn't happen. Meetings ran over. Lost time. Okay. It's like, right, mornings. We're going for mornings. Like just like go to bed a bit earlier, get up, get it done. And it's like, it's painful because you're not used to getting up at that time and it feels uncomfortable. But then literally 2 weeks, and I'm not even joking, 2 weeks of them doing it consistently. And it's like, it's not that bad this. I feel better. I'm getting it done. I'm being consistent. I'm proud of myself. And it just, again, it's that time of day where unless your kid, and by the way, like for anyone who has got kids and you do get woken up at like 4 a.m. and then you can't get your morning workout done, fine. That day maybe isn't going to happen. Next day. it's just accepting like plans do have to change and adapt sometimes. But I do find for people who have very, very busy schedules and time is short, the mornings of getting up and getting that workout done is like a priceless time to be able to get it done.
It is. And the knock-on effect of what you were just describing there of having a couple of weeks where you actually do get to do your workouts and you prove to yourself that like, oh, my needs are just as important as everyone else's. Because before that, everyone else's needs were winning.
Yeah.
You were just staying in that meeting, even though you knew that you really should have worked out. You were cooking dinner for everyone, even though your husband was supposed to, but he was running late from work. Like everyone else was coming first. But if you get a couple of weeks under your belt of proving to yourself that actually, do you know what? You can make yourself a priority and no one else falls apart.
Yeah.
Then it becomes quite hard to go back.
It does. It really becomes hard to go back. And we see it with so many clients where it's like, everyone said in work, like, what have I been doing? I feel so, like, I'm so much nicer. And it's like, yeah, like, no shit, you know what I mean? You feel like no one ever regrets walking out the gym or feels bad. You always feel better after doing a workout. You always feel better after going for a walk. You know, these are just things that just like inherently do make us feel better. And if it's something that you struggle to get it done, I think the mornings, you know, sort of the best time. It's the most controllable time. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, on a similar note, I know you're going to think this is a bit woo-woo, but it just triggered me to remember this quote that I wrote down from Yoko Ono, actually, little Liverpool connection.
Okay.
Smile in the mirror, do that every morning, and you'll start to see a big difference in your life. So I know you wouldn't be a big lover of just walking up to the mirror and smiling at yourself.
Yeah.
But there are lots of people that do the opposite. And there are lots of people that go in their mirror, start putting on clothes to go to work and picking themselves apart and talking down to themselves and starting their day in a really shitty mood with themselves.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying you have to go and smile at yourself in the mirror like a big cheesy grin, but if you take control of your mindset, you are going to turn out to be nicer to everyone at work, nicer to your family, in a better mood. And if you've already kept some promises to yourself, shown that you're worthy of your own time to yourself, like these things are evidence of self-love. Like self-love is not standing in the mirror smiling at yourself saying, oh, I'm so beautiful. It is actually bothering to take care of yourself like you would for anyone else that you love.
Yeah.
And when you do that by getting up on time, going and do your workout, whatever it might be that you've committed to, you are then more able to not pull yourself apart in the mirror and go to work a nicer person.
No, I agree. And I think it's just like the through line of all of this is starting your day with intention and just sticking at it. And whether how small or big it is, just making sure that you're running your day. Because I think that's when you feel in control. That's when you feel more calmness.
Yeah.
And when your day is just completely running you because you've gone to bed late and you've woken up tired and you're looking at your phone and there's problems here and you're late for work. It's all of that it just creates chaos.
Yeah.
It's the best way I can say. And when you've got so much chaos in your life, you crave order. And you often have the power to tip that scale back in your favor.
So definitely something that helps you start your day with intention. What about the nuts and bolts of things that happen in the morning? So water, you've already mentioned you have...
Glass of water. As soon as you wake up, hydrate before you caffeinate. It's
Yeah.
a good line. Hydrate before you caffeinate.
I like it. I always have. Actually, I'm one of these weird people that I drink like quite a lot after they say you should in the evenings and all through the night. So I would drink a pint of water between going to bed and waking up.
Okay.
And
through the night?
Yeah.
Why do you wake up through the night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just do. And then I fill it back up and I drink it again before I go downstairs. So between going to bed and going downstairs, I've had a litre of water, which I'm not saying everyone needs to have that much, but if you've got a pint glass or you've got a large glass by your bed, you're more likely to hydrate. And I would say have a glass before you even leave your bedroom because it gets you off to a good start.
So Steph has chronically suffered with like UTIs like for like a really long time. And this is like the longest she's now gone without having one. And touch wood, because it's obviously been a good thing. And the main thing that it's been is her drinking more water. Like, and it sounds ridiculous. Like, she can't even believe it. And one of the things that she's done, I've had a better habit of drinking water, just like it's more ingrained. She would just forget sometimes. So she now puts the pint glass of water in the bathroom. And she's just got this rule, like, before she leaves the bathroom in the morning, she has to have drank the glass of water. And just like, that's just a good way of like, because that's when you are your most dehydrated, is first thing in the morning. That's why when you go to the toilet, your urine and your wee is its darkest. So she gets that down, and then it's like she's got this other rule that she has to drink her 1 litre bottle of water before she has her first coffee. So it's just putting these cues in place that are like reinforcing the habit. And for her, obviously, it's come from being in pain and getting regular sort of UTIs. But again, just like little habits and little cues to make sure that you do hydrate.
And it's quite a simple one to start.
Yeah.
You know, just have a glass of water before you go out of your bedroom.
But again, it starts the night before. So takes the glass of water to bed in the night, leaves it in the bathroom, and then it's kind of, you know, the step before.
Yeah. And so after water, obviously, food.
Food?
You will hear all kinds of bullshit on the internet. Do eat breakfast. Don't eat breakfast. If you don't fast, you're going to be fat. If you do fast, you're going to ruin your hormones. It depends.
It depends. With a lot of what you do, whether you want to work out in the morning, work out in the evening, in the afternoon, it depends. It depends on your schedule and what works best for you. Whether you want to eat most of your calories in the morning, most of the night. Again, it depends, and it's up to you. Some people love to have breakfast. Some people like to have a later breakfast. Again, it depends.
Yeah. So we didn't actually cover this when we talked about your routine. What do you have and when?
I typically, it depends on the day and how busy things are on, but like about 10 o'clock. So I'll typically get up about 6, 5:30 or 6 it'll be, depending on the days. And yeah, I'll probably eat about around 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's interesting, because I'm about the same.
Yeah.
What time do you have dinner?
We're trying to have dinner earlier, but it's probably about 7.
Oh, yeah.
6, 7.
Yeah, so we have ours about 5 because we eat with a toddler.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I'm not intermittent fasting intentionally, but that's a long gap.
Yeah.
And I think if you are used to listening to your own hunger cues, you'd be surprised. Like, people think you wake up and you're hungry because you haven't eaten for 9 hours.
Well, I wake up and sometimes I am hungry, and
Yeah.
then I work out and it's gone, which is weird. And I didn't believe that. Steph had always said that, like, oh yeah, when you exercise, your hunger goes, and it does. But then it does come back with vengeance.
Yeah.
But like, I just typically find around that time I am hungry.
Yeah. So I guess the point of it is, if you are eating breakfast the minute you wake up because you are genuinely hungry and that works for you, cool. But a lot of us just got in that habit from being kids.
And then you have a circadian clock for that too.
Yeah.
So if you're used to eating as soon as you wake up, your body will be used to that happening. And if you start to change that, it will feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you get like, everyone's heard of like being hangry. You actually get like a short spike of like adrenaline as well there before you're used to it. So like before lunchtime, I think it's like in court, if your court hearing is just before lunch, there's a higher chance that you get prosecuted.
Really?
Yeah, I think Si can probably fact check me on this, but and it's literally because
the judge is in a bad mood.
Well, no, the judges used to having their lunch at lunchtime, so their circadian rhythms and clocks and body clocks right before lunch, as they're starting to get there, they will spike a little bit of adrenaline. They'll get more impatient. They'll get a bit more hangry. And they'll be like, right, this idiot, right, guilty. And like, that's a real thing. And
Someone needs to just be like passing snacks over the desk.
yeah, exactly. Just feed them some Haribo or something. The hungry judge effect. So, go on, Stacey, you can read that.
Judges were more inclined to be lenient after the meal and more severe before the break. It was a study in 2011.
Yeah, so you just find that like if you're looking to change some of your eating habits, you will typically find about around 10 days for 2 weeks, it'll feel a bit uncomfortable, but your body will just change. Like it's just so amazing at adapting. And for anyone who says, my body doesn't change, I'm like this, right, well, most people have been abroad. And guess what happens when you go abroad? The clocks often change. And when the clocks change, so does your circadian rhythm. So it can change, and you've just got to be open to the fact that it will.
Yeah, and also just to say, we're not saying eating breakfast the minute you wake up is wrong at all.
No, not at all.
But if it's something that you don't actually even really feel hungry, you just eat breakfast when you wake up because that's what you've always done, it's just to prompt you to question that and think, hey, especially if you're on a weight loss journey, only eating when you're actually hungry is hugely helpful to sticking to your deficit. And it also teaches you what hunger feels like. So if you wait until you are on like a 7 out of 10 of hunger to actually eat, you start to become familiar with what a 4 and a 5 and a 6 feel like.
Yeah.
And you can start to tune in and eat when you're hungry and not eat when you're not hungry. So that was kind of the point of raising, like, when do you eat? Because it's not necessarily the right time for you if it's just something you've always done.
Yeah.
and just reassess.
Yeah. And just to go off that as well, some mornings, especially when I've traveled sometimes or I've been working later or schedules being different, some days I do wake up and I feel really hungry. And as soon as I finish my workout, I'll just eat straight away. But like, I feel like I'm very in tune with my body and I'll just go, I'm hungry. Like I can feel like I'm really hungry in that sense. So it can just be like a balancing act in that sort of sense.
Yeah. And then when you do end up eating, this is another great tip if you're on a weight loss journey. Breakfast is just another one of your meals. And when we start working with our clients and we say to them, right, you've got this protein goal, let's look at how you're going to achieve that each day. Let's say that person's protein goal is 100 grams. They instantly think, oh, how am I going to get 50 grams at lunch and 50 grams at dinner?
Yeah.
Well, your breakfast is actually a third of your meals for most people.
Yeah.
So if you are currently having a piece of toast or a bowl of cereal, you are going to make it really quite tricky to hit your protein goal for the rest of the day. So my advice would be not just for weight loss, for feeling full through the morning, for having better protein synthesis in your muscles through the day, loads of reasons, get some protein at breakfast.
Yeah, definitely. It's if you're basically having like a piece of toast and like jam or cereal with lots of sugar on, like you'll probably have that in like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, you'll feel hungry again. If you have like a high protein, higher fat breakfast, and again, you can have carbs in there as well, but if you do have a typically higher protein, higher fat breakfast, you are just a lot more satiated and a lot more full, and it breaks that getting that protein goal in so much easier throughout the day.
Yeah. So you love an egg?
I have 6 eggs, 6 eggs, avocado, maybe 2 pieces of toast, and some beans or tomatoes, depends where it is.
Yeah.
And like this is like the funny thing, if I ever gain a bit of fat, all I end up doing is I have no butter on my toast, I have 1 piece of toast, and I just have 6 eggs, but I have 2 yolks. So like I just like dial back that's how I just like balance things out for me. I just have certain consistent meals that I have.
You just tweak them.
And I'll have 1 snack today instead of 2 or 3. So it's just like, for me, I just balance out. And this has definitely only happened since I've turned 30. But like I can get like love handles quite consistently now. And I'm like, what? And I feel them like over my jeans. And I'm like, fuck's sake. Like it never used to happen. And now it happens like way more frequently. I've either got more gluttonous and indulgent as I've got older or something else is going on. But yeah, like that's kind of like, that's just become like a cue now. I'm like, right, I've overdone it. And then I think I kind of,
dial back on those 6 eggs.
Dial back on those 6 eggs. They're just 2 whole eggs. Life's hard.
Yeah. So I do actually really love an egg bagel for my 10 o'clock breakfast, which is 2 eggs, avocado, bagel, and some spinach. So that'd be a good one for me.
I should say that's about 65 grams of protein. So I try and get 200 grams of protein a day.
Oh, yeah.
So that's about 65 for me.
Yeah, mine's about 25.
Yeah.
Which is fine for me.
Yeah, so I'm like 210 pounds, like 15-ish stone. So 93 kilos.
Yeah, if you're like a 160, 170 pound woman, you probably don't need to have 6 eggs, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but that's, again, like if I've got 200 grams to get, if I'm getting 65 in the morning, I'm like, all right, I'm like just under a third of the way there. If I didn't do that, it's painful to try and get that much protein in throughout the day. Yeah.
And, you can use things like protein shakes. I know a lot of clients of mine in the past have opted to have that with whatever they used to have for breakfast because it's an easy addition rather than completely changing their breakfast, especially because mornings do tend to be a bit time pressured.
Yeah.
Like just cooking up a breakfast is not an easy thing to just wedge in there, especially when you're starting out. So if you want to improve your nutrition in the morning and have more energy for that morning, you could add a protein shake, but just be mindful that they do have calories in them. You can't just add it in and be like, okay, cool, I've added protein and not worry about that. You still need to factor that into your calorie allowance if you're on a weight loss journey. Yeah,
that's even like one of the things with the breakfast that I have, because I get poached eggs and I'll ask for the toast, not buttered, and either with like tomatoes or avocado, like the restaurant can't change the ingredients there to an extent. There could be like smaller eggs or larger eggs or whatever else, or like a lot smaller or larger pieces of bread, but like it's quite a controlled meal to have. So like that's a huge thing for me. Like when I'm traveling, it's like, oh, I can have a pretty consistent breakfast that I enjoy and tastes nice. That I'm not going to go and go, oh God, that had double the calories in it, and like an extra 50 grams of fat from oil that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
So
definitely a good move on the poached eggs. Because even scrambled eggs, they put all kinds of cream and deliciousness in. If you go to a restaurant.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So yeah, those are some of the nuts and bolts that, everybody has some water at some point in the morning and has some food at some point in the morning. I just thought it was useful to maybe do that bit of an FAQ on what would be optimal. And then when it comes to crafting your own ideal morning routine, we've talked about this throughout, it's very personal.
It is.
And I think the most important thing to keep in mind is to be realistic. Because if you start trying to overload, like I'm going to start meditating, making myself eggs, doing a workout, doing all this, you might do it for a week or two, but then you're probably not going to follow through.
Yeah.
So start small, and also think about how much time you actually have. So if you're prepared to get up 10 minutes early, okay, cool. Let's start with that. What can you do in that 10 minutes that's going to give you a better start to your day? And that doesn't mean it's like the thing that everyone on Instagram says you should be doing. It's the thing that you feel is going to make you more energized, in a better headspace, whatever that might be.
And if you don't know what that is, the goal would just be to try something and give it a go for a couple of weeks and see if that helps. And if it does, that's maybe something that can stick. And if it doesn't, try something new.
Yeah. And again, stick at it for 20 days.
20 days.
Because you probably have this inner belief of like, oh, I'm not a morning person. The fact is, most of us, if we set the conditions right, we went to bed on time, we were prepped, we planned out our time, we knew what we were doing with intention, we could feel like a morning person.
Yeah,
It's quite a
would
construct.
probably disagree. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
But it's a belief.
Yeah.
And beliefs can be changed. And the way you can do that is to set yourself up for success. And all of that is in the preparation and setting realistic expectations.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you've got like weirdly unpredictable shifts, or you have got kids or whatever, something that someone asked me the other day on one of the Facebook groups was like, do you have to do a morning routine in the morning? Which I was like, good point. Because if you are on a weird shift and actually you wake up at 4 p.m, should you still bother having a morning routine?
I think the morning for you is like when you get up, isn't it? It's like the start of your day. And that's typically when you're waking up, and it's the first couple of hours of your day, yeah.
Exactly. So the routine is the thing. It's the fact that you're starting your waking hours with that intent that we've talked about. And you still want to have that same like preparation and nighttime routine, as it were, before, which also means when you're changing shifts and you're coming back onto days, maybe, you've got something that's a bit of a consistent theme. So your body is like prepping to get to bed because you're doing the same things before. When you wake up, there's the same thing. So it just helps you fall back into that circadian rhythm again. So again, start small and use habit cues for success. So you talked about like when you go into the bathroom, you just pick up your toothbrush because it's there. You just, you know, like there's things that you do on autopilot because they are there and it's a cue. And you can use habit stacking for this as well. So if there's a habit that you already do, like we all brush our teeth every morning.
Yeah, like for Steph, it's now like after I brush my teeth, then I will drink my glass of water.
Right.
So that's a habit stack of like the cues there because the glass of water is there as you walk in, but then stacking the habit on is like I'm already in the bathroom, I'm going to brush my teeth. I can see the glass of water, that there's the cue. I just drink the water before I leave the bathroom. And then you start to add in another habit to what you already do.
Yeah. So if there is a habit that you really want to start doing as part of your morning routine, you're struggling, tag it onto something that you do without fail. And that's going to set you up way more for success. So choose what feels right for you. Start small. Just get up and do it. Like stop pressing snooze. And then also allow yourself a little bit of grace. Like if it doesn't go to plan one day, that's fine. Do what you can. Choose what your non-negotiables are and then get back at it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Body Smart podcast. We hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you did, then make sure you subscribe or follow to make sure you don't miss out on any episodes. They drop every Thursday.